Para toda la gente hispana, nosotros tenemos que tratar de regresar a nuestros países. Estamos traerlos.
These are our heroes. Mario Savio said once that a time comes when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon the whole apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to those that run it and those that own it that unless you're free, the operation of the machine will be prevented from working at all. My brothers and sisters, my fellow citizens, Martin Luther King once said, a time comes when silence is betrayal. A time comes when silence is betrayal. He said that on April 4th, 1967 at the Riverside Church in New York. And that applies to what's happening today. We must not be silent any longer. We've got to step over that line. We've got to have the courage to stop this war machine. I was wounded in the Vietnam War. The same government that wounded my brothers behind me in this war, they wounded me with their senseless war in 1968. I have been paralyzed from my mid-chest down in this wheelchair. This is my 40th year in a wheelchair. And the same government that put me in this wheelchair are putting other young men and women in wheelchairs for a war that makes no sense, a war that is killing Iraqis and Americans, a war that we must stop, a war that is going to ruin our country unless we do. Keep up this brave fight. Remember how powerful you are, each and every one of you. Think of Nelson Mandela. Think of the apartheid movement. Think of movements around this world that had the odds against them. We will change this world, we will end this war, and we will create a beautiful, beautiful country someday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It is deeply gratifying to see so many young people here demonstrating and speaking out in public against this wretched war. And while it may not seem like your voice is being listened to or that peace is a lost cause, I just want to assure you that your voice is the only voice worth listening to, and lost causes are the only causes worth fighting for. This government needs to be reminded of what Thomas Paine reminded the Founding Fathers, that the rights of man are not given by the gracious hand of any state, but must be protected therein. And we need to be reminded that it is only through consistent, peaceful, nonviolent resistance that we can be made worthy of the long-promised blessing reserved for the peacemakers. And so, friends, let us continue to resist, because we have within ourselves the power and the responsibility to lift up this nation and all its people to a place where the heart is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sands of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action into that heaven of freedom, my Father. Let our country awake.
Hey, Mike.
I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm wearing a hat today that says FBI. This was given to me by a friend of mine who is with us. And I think it's important for us to know that the police officers who are here and the federal agents who are among you in Mufti, who are here to protect people from breaking the law and make sure nobody breaks the law and nobody sunders our principles, are in the wrong place. Yeah. Where they should be is in Washington, D.C. To protect us from the people who are breaking the law and sundering our principles. They should go back there and wake up our Congress and tell them to stand up to those people in the White House who don't believe in America. I love this country. I was raised and born in this country, and I believe that this is the nation that people look to as the beacon of hope. And I despise the fact that Mr. Bush and Mr. Cheney and their ilk have turned it into the merchant of death. We cannot allow a nation founded on the principles that say that you and I are valuable, you and everyone in this world are people worthy of being treated with honor and dignity, worthy of being recognized as valuable human beings. Instead of that, these criminals would turn this nation into a nation that tortures, that spies on its own people, that invades other countries. That's not the country I know, and I want my country back!